I am Captain Logan, and this is day 253 of Spawn Year. Is Clown Deadpool? Ever since he invaded Jason Wynn's mind, he's had a tendency to break the fourth wall and seem to talk directly at the reader, or at least he seemed aware of the reader's presence. That's really the only logical explanation for the Silver Age Marvel comic gag. Al Simmons doesn't strike me as a man who's ever read a comic book, but the opening of this issue is far more blatant about it. Clown parodies Masterpiece Theater, sitting in a library in a bathrobe, all mock sophisticate, with a tiny glass of wine in one hand, going as far as to say, "Oh, good evening, I didn't see you there," before he starts in on his faux high society monologue. This is all for the reader's benefit, since he's not talking to anyone in particular, but I like that it can be read as Clown just lashing out in frustration at being trapped as a possessor spirit and sick to death of Jason Wynn and his stuck-up, highfalutin, stuffy and droll nonsense. Quickly, we realize that what he's really doing is making fun of Wynn, and this little sketch degenerates into a bona fide hissy fit. Hogwood is having a lot of fun with Clown, and I found this pretty amusing. We learn that Clown only picked Wynn as his vessel because Spawn had left him such a hollowed-out shell, and he would be easy to manipulate. And I'd assume because Wynn's personal history with Spawn would make it easier to draw Spawn out, which is Clown's goal. Hey, a clown scheme that actually makes sense, and a legitimate reason to go on a killing spree, unlike Violator's first murder mayhem way back in the earliest issues. I mean, a plausible motivation for a killing spree. There's no legitimate reason to ever commit murder. So while Spawn's been otherwise distracted, Wynn has been busy hacking up women and labeling them Wanda under Clown's influence, always with Clown's face. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, except maybe a disguise or possibly a message to Spawn in case someone caught Wynn in the act and got a picture. After all, Clown isn't being super careful, and why should he? If Wynn gets arrested or killed, Clown can just jump into some other body. But obviously the real reason for the face is that it's mondo creepy, and this book is all about those memorable, disturbing images you can't get out of your head. I'll hand it to Hogwood and Medina with that one. That'll keep you up at night. There's a lot I like about Clown being in Wynn's head. One, when they had that uneasy alliance that got really convoluted and never went anywhere, they were both trying to manipulate the other, but no matter how skilled Wynn may have been at dirty politics and subterfuge, he never stood a chance against a demon from hell. So here, he's finally experiencing the power of the supernatural force he foolishly believed he could control. And secondly, though I doubt this is on purpose, it's interesting to see Wynn as the unwitting puppet of a hell demon when he was once an equally unwitting vessel for heaven back when he was chosen as the anti-Spawn. And he's being used to draw out Spawn by both parties, always a direct consequence for having Al Simmons killed in the first place. So Twitch and Spawn talk to Sam in his office, and he tells Spawn about the Wanda murders, and also that Wanda herself hasn't been placed in protective custody because she's moved out of state, which Spawn didn't know. It's obvious to Spawn that someone's looking for him, so rather than speculating about who it might be, he uses his new, easy detective work avoiding power of looking through the eyes of random insects in the city. Gee, you'd think if we're skipping all that pesky investigating that slows down a story and makes it take too long to get to the interesting stuff, he said facetiously, we could get a little more done in a comic than Spawn finds Wynn, Spawn stops Wynn from killing another girl, Clown takes over Wynn's body. I really don't need 2 full pages devoted to the thinly veiled plot device of insect vision. Just before Spawn shows up, Clown is hilarious, making fun of how lame of a serial killer Wynn is. All of Wynn's taunting is about Freudian phallic symbols and the like, and the squat, overweight clown from hell, wearing a hard hat and a polka-dotted sock, finds it all absurd. Why does Hogwood's writing come most alive when he's dealing with possessing psychopaths? This and the Billy Kincaid arc have the most energy of anything he's written thus far, and I usually hate possession stories. So Spawn comes after Wynn and he's surprised that's who it is, but weirdly never asks what's with the blue face or even thinks about Clown. Really? Wouldn't that be the first thing you'd notice? Spawn might be a little more heroic now, but he's not much brighter. So partially under Clown's control, Wynn begs and pleads for his life, and Spawn says he won't be coming for Wynn until he's been on trial and humiliated in the public eye. But Clown manages to give Wynn a Tweety Bird-esque mental push, and he falls several stories, out of Spawn's sight. Then Wynn pulls himself together after breaking all his bones. I guess Clown's influence gives him superpowers. Or maybe Clown's now walking around in Wynn's corpse. I guess we'll find out next issue. That would make the most sense. Otherwise, why didn't Clown take full control of Wynn's mind from the very beginning? It's nice to see some humor back in this book. Spawn is a title that rarely works when it takes itself too seriously, especially after all its sordid history. I enjoyed this one and legitimately look forward to seeing Clown and Spawn go toe-to-toe after Clown's long absence. Signed, Captain Logan.